Joining us right now to discuss it is Honorable Sate Tise, who is a majority leader of the Benue State House of Assembly. He joins us via Zoom. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Honorable. Just a little curious as to what exactly has led to the sequence of events. Just before our correspondent, sent in that report, he did report that there was a meeting held with the governor of the state before that particular meeting of the assembly took place. Is that correct?
Yeah, thank you, Marco. Good morning. That is true. The state government is made out of three arms, and the legislature is the most democratic one. We work in collaboration with the executive and the judiciary. So when such changes are necessary, all the stakeholders need to come together to look at a way that there will be peace and more progressive development in the state to avoid unnecessary rancor and some crisis.
So what was wrong with the status quo that you felt or that members of the assembly felt was bringing rancor to the state?
I know you remember at the initial when we got into office and were inaugurated. We have been managing the house very well, but there has been, you remember there has been some crisis, one time or the other. We're looking at the best way, and the speaker that just resigned felt that he can make that sacrifice to balance the workings in the house and make the state move forward. If it means removing himself out of the system to allow some conditions to be stable. Well, that's just what he did.
We had seen a situation, I mean, when we were watching the inauguration of state houses of assembly, I do know that Benue State was quite interesting because it was one of the few states where we saw the governor actually sit in with members of the State House of Assembly and watch how plenary, eventually saw the election of, will I say, his preferred candidate. He was suspended, wasn't he?
I don't think that was true. The governor came in. He came from the church. He has never been in any political scene. So when he inaugurated the house, he actually sought to see, let him at least see the process the way it's done. It wasn't in any way that he had a preferred candidate. You remember that even when he was there, he had to leave at some point to allow us to do our job. But at least he had a glimpse of what he done during inauguration. That was his first experience, so he wanted to see it.
And I'm sure everybody has a first time. And you haven't said anything that I have said was false. I'm just saying that it's not normal, it's not usual. Let me use the word usual.
It's not
usual that we see the principal, or will I say the head of the executive arm of government come and witness what has happened or what is happening within the legislative arm of government, which is supposed to be a separate and independent arm of government by itself in a state and also even at the federal level. I mean, imagine just how it would be if we saw the president coming into the National Assembly and say, no, I haven't witnessed this before, I'd like to see it. Some people will say that borders on interference.
I told you already that it's a choice. It is not prohibited for an executive to sit there. It's a choice. Some people send their advisors. The advisors in those occasions are admitted officially to watch the proceeding. He made the choice, not because he had particular interest that he wanted to, remote the members to do. Okay. I told you that when he witnessed it, at some point he had to leave.
So shall we find it strange then that these members who were reinstated, where one of them was immediately elected, if I may use the word, as the speaker, as a new speaker of the House of Assembly?
You remember that when they were suspended on Friday, I had a discussion with the press, and I told them we needed a stability at the moment on that Friday to conduct our proceedings very well. Certainly, this is a political institution, And legislature is the most democratic. Democracy continues even after the general election. In the House, we still continue, and negotiations happen every day. So that very day, we are doing a very serious business of screening of nominees for commissioners from the governor of the state. And we couldn't afford to, have rancor. So we had to stabilize the House by sending some of them away so we can continue the business. That business was done, and then a lot of stakeholder engagement came in, and that is the point that the Speaker saw that he needed to give way so the problems will be solved, and then make a sacrifice for the state so we can continue our business and have stability in the House to aid the executive in conducting their business very well.
Well, Mr. Honorable Tisse, it's no news that the governor of the state and the secretary to the government of the federation, who everyone says is his godfather, his political godfather, had a falling out. And, there have been talks around their reconciliation. There have been talks around they're working together, etc. And we've seen moves in that regard. It's unclear whether all is now well and all has been smoothened out. But a number of watchers, political watchers in Benue State, believe that this might not be unrelated with smoothing out the rough patches between the governor and his erstwhile godfather. So I do not know if you want to comment on that, if this has anything whatsoever to do with it.
I want you to know and the public to know that the speaker that just resigned, Right Honorable High Senator Dajoh, was in very good terms with the governor. He was the governor also in those teams during the elections. And so I don't think this is connected to whatever you are talking about. But he saw that he needed to do that sacrifice to stabilize government. It's an in-house thing. It doesn't have anything to connect with what is happening outside. The SGF is in the federal, and whatever he has or he may have with the governor is political. It doesn't actually affect the government of the state.
Well, I know my colleague Ayo has a question for you.
To speak a little further on what you just spoken about now, Honorable, because it is no secret that the former speaker had the backing of the governor. And there are allegations now that even though, as you say, it's an independent activity being carried out, but then there are allegations of the rift that was existent before the speaker, Honorable Dajoh, became speaker, that was still there. First ballot in 2023, the House was split in half. And even subsequently, it would seem like that much didn't change because the House had always been like kind of on this side and on that side at the same time. So can you speak to us about whether or not this has one thing or the other to do with, one, the governor and his and the speaker of the, the secretary to the government of the federation on one hand, and the APC in Benue State on the other?
I told you that all of us in the House belong to a political party. It is only that the APC has majority. It is also not news, it's known to you that the former speaker had the backing of the governor before he won the seat. I told you that we have had some issues in the House back and forth for a long time. And as a good leader, somebody who wants the state to move forward, he feels that maybe if he gives way now, there may be some stability.
But is it true, Honorable, just 1 second, Honorable, is it true that there was a point that the House wanted to impeach the speaker, but he opted to resign instead?
No. Until he resigned, he had the full backing of members not less than more than 2/3 of the House. There couldn't have been impeachment. I told you that he's a problem-free person. He means well for the state, and he felt that he doesn't want a shaky House under his leadership. So he would just give way for somebody else to come in, and then maybe we'll experience a more peaceful thing. He has done it for 2 years. He feels that maybe another person could try. He's really somebody that doesn't want crisis. If you notice, he doesn't even want public appearance to show up that he's Speaker. These are the reasons he gave for more peace, for his peace, personal peace, and for the peace of the House. Let another person experiment that leadership.
Okay, let me ask you, Honorable Honorable Tese, because your speaker is Right Honorable Alfred Mbege, who was a former whip in the House of Assembly. What are you hoping will happen now with the leadership, under the leadership of the Right Honorable Speaker, Alfred Mbege?
The speakership is a seat. The leadership of the House, we have up to 10 people holding positions. So it's a cooperative team. And we hope to give him full cooperation to make sure that he succeeds. I told you that the former speaker just wanted peace. I wanted another person to try. We are trying all the time, very, very serious, to make sure that the volatile nature of the House does not escalate. So the speaker gave way. We are supporting Honorable Beja. He is also a very cool person. We believe that with God and with our support, he will actually succeed.
Well, we have to thank you for speaking with us this morning. We certainly will be keeping tabs. You are the one who say the volatile nature of the House does not escalate. We will also be keeping tabs.
That is known to public. And it's known to public, and every parliament is like that. You have to balance interests, and because people come differently with their different agenda, and it's democratic. So there is no long process of assuming and then relinquishing roles of leadership. But we believe that we will cooperate, given the necessary cooperation, the same we gave to the former Right Honorable Speaker, Ordinary Dajoh.
Honorable Sate Tise, who is the Majority Leader, Benue State House of Assembly, thank you so much for speaking with us this morning on Sunrise Daily.
Thank you very much. Thank you.